Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, and the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. My God, folks. Once in a while in this fountain pen collecting voyage, if you will, you need to take a big dive, spend some money, but get this beautiful writing instrument that I know will be with you forever and that you will enjoy forever, and hopefully even when you pass away somebody else will enjoy the pen. You can't do this every day or every week or every month. Even sometimes you can't do this every year, but I count myself lucky and fortunate. I work hard, this is my therapy. So I've added to my Grail pen collection another beautiful, beautiful pen. I gotta tell you, this pen and the review of this pen that I'm going to propose to you, it's got so many interesting aspects that is just not going to be a simple review where you look at the barrel, you look at the cap, you see if it posts, and then you measure it, and then you write with it, and 15 minutes later it's all over. This pen has got so much. It's got some history, it's got some technical, and just physically is beautiful, and it needs to be reviewed properly. So I'm going to try to do the best job possible to let you experience, I think, what this Waterman Edson has to offer us. So without any further ado, Fountain Pen Therapy presents, yes, the Waterman Edson. Okay, so we're back. This is the box that it came in, and you guys have seen my unboxing, may even have seen it on one of my recaps, but just to make it a complete review for those of you who have not had a sneak peek at this thing. First of all, the box, it came in a fairly good condition. It's used instrument. They don't make this Waterman Edson anymore. It is what I would term vintage after all. So that's the unboxing. Now, before we get closer into the pen and a little bit just to show you what it came with, just a bit of background. This pen, it essentially was dedicated to the founder of Waterman, which is Edson Waterman. And the pen was first introduced in its because it has different colors, in its midnight blue version, which is this one, in 1993. Now, I believe this pen was either manufactured or it came from England or from France. I'm not sure whether or not there's a difference. All the packaging is in French. The booklet that comes with this is in French. So I'm assuming that this is actually comes from Paris. It came in emerald green. It was introduced, and ruby red in 1995. In 2004, there was a version, all metal version of it, in fact, including sterling silver. In 2008, you add a non-translucent version. You'll see the translucency on the barrel here in just a few minutes, referred to as diamond black. And there's also, a limited edition as well. It came with kind of a platinum coated sterling silver guilloche decoration version. So it's got a little bit of history, and it's got various versions of it, but I think that this blue, midnight blue version that I have is probably the most popular, although I've heard that the ruby red is a little bit rarer. And I've got to tell you, the emerald green is also very enticing. So maybe just future hunts for me. So back to the unboxing. So as you can see, it comes in this beautiful blue box. And we'll get to the rest in just a second. I'll put that aside. The blue box is in fairly good condition. I got to tell you, for 1993, very nice. I've seen others with where the box is kind of half destroyed. Here's the pen, folks. It does have some signs of usage. So, obviously, it's a pen that came out in 1993. Now, when was this particular one purchased? Probably in the 90s, I would assume. In terms of the box, when you remove this pamphlet, it came with the blue converter that we'll see in a second, and one set of Waterman cartridges. I'm not sure. I believe there was another set there. It's missing. Okay. Now, the booklet is very interesting. It gives you quite a bit of information for the pen, and the booklet is all in French. And I've used it to kind of prepare for this review, and it has, all the aspects of the pen really described in great detail. And I also have the original warranty card, because this does have an international lifetime warranty, and I can tell from where it was purchased that this was purchased in France. Okay, it's got a serial number, or a number of the series, and it matches the number that's stamped on the pen, and I'll show that to you in just a few seconds. So, some of the pens, you can buy this pen, but it doesn't come with all this. So I'm glad this was included and formed part of it. Put that back in the box. Now let's go back to the pen. So here it is. We'll close that and put it back in the box. Now here's the pen. Let me just make sure that we can focus here. Okay. I want to get the camera right. So I got two camera angles. We're going to do a more macro look at some of the stuff on this pen in just a second. The first thing I want to mention is this translucent barrel. Okay. It's midnight blue, and it's meant to reflect, the blue sea with rays of sun. Now, what's special about this barrel, this resin barrel, is that it's a doubled layered barrel with space in between the two layers, which creates this translucency and this kind of bluish, almost shine to it. It really does depict, the sun shining on dark blue sea. So it's just fabulous, okay? And it diffuses that blue color in a really, really, really nice fashion. Now, let me just take I've got so many things to talk about that I've got notes, imagine. So I don't want forget anything. And let me just go back to my notes here. Now, the cap. The cap is, first of all, it's got a spring-loaded mechanism for the clip. Isn't that ingenious? I love that double-lined clip that's kind of typical of Waterman, from what I understand. Then it's got this very unique kind of a band. So rather than just having a normal, cigar-shaped cap there, this clip plays such a role in terms of its design. Usually the clip is just there, period. But this one actually adds character to the whole pen. And it's dominant. Now, there is a number on that clip, okay, and that's the number of the serial number 0633 in my case. The barrel is brass and it's 23 karat gold plated, okay, and we'll take a look at macro shots in a second. Now, the next thing is that the center band here has Waterman, and then it's Paris. But there you have it. It does have some signs of usage, and I'll show you why I got such a great deal on this pen in the macro shots later on, and I don't think it really bothers me at all. It's got some dings, and we'll show that only in macro. You can really see them. Now, when you open it up, you see those three studs? They're spring-loaded, and there's a nice cap to it. It reminds you a little bit of the Lamy, except this is just so much better. Take a look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So when you uncap it, it reveals this beautiful inlaid 18 karat nib. Now, what's special about it is, I think and we'll see it in the macro shots later on, it's got the Waterman logo right there, which I think is the first time that Waterman actually put the W with that logo. And take a look at that nib. Isn't that majestic? I mean, in hindsight, I should have given it a little more shine, but I inked it up and I used it. But when the ink runs out, I think I'm going to give it just a little buffing there. The section is also made out of that blue translucent resin, although it's probably a little darker than the rest of the barrel. But it's important because if you want to get another nib section, you got to make sure you match the color and you don't get green or red in case, because from what I understand, they do sell just a section. There's the feed, and on that feed, you'll see the ST right there for stub. Now, what else have I got to tell you about? Yeah, the nibs came, just give me a second here. Actually, I'm going to take out the booklet again because the booklet provides information on the different nib sizes that it comes in. And there are 7 of them, and I forget all of them now. So, yeah, here they are. So you get extra fine, fine, medium, large, stub, oblique, I guess is left and right, okay? So those are the 7 sizes that it came in. Now, I waited to buy this pen because I really wanted a stub, and I finally got one. So that's one of the reasons why I even lived with some of the imperfections in it that I will show you in just a few seconds when I would take some macro shots. Now, the other thing is that notice is that there is a step down there, as you can see right here, but it is so done so well. It's kind of smooth. You don't really feel it. In terms of its comfort, just beautiful, just beautiful. Really, really, really nice. Now, I want to be careful. I don't want to cap this pen, but for those of you who want to cap, it caps comfortably and deeply and securely. I just don't like to cap my pens. I don't want to ruin it. And this nib section has got a very special mechanism. And let me just take a look at my notes again. First of all, the nib is an 18-karat nib, needless to say. And the nib section has got the feed is got this 3-fissure system that regulates flow. It prevents excess discharge. So I never get my fingers inked when I use this pen. And it's leak proof, they say, for up to 30,000 feet. And actually, the booklet gives you all kinds of information on that. There's a lifetime warranty, as I mentioned. And when you open up the pen, first of all, you can tell there's a nice tight grip there. So it really seals properly. And that's due to the fact that there is a nice O-ring right there. You actually have the, not the numbered series, but the serial number of the pen stamped there. And then, of course, there you have that beautiful blue cartridge or the blue converter, which makes this even more unique, I would say to you. And it really, I mean, take a look at the inside of this, the way it's done so well. So it's brass on brass. And I mean, the build quality of this pen is just like unmatched. Really, really unmatched. Now, have I got anything else to show you? No. So what I'm going to do, give me a second. I'm going to set up my macro shots so that I can show you some other details from this pen in a much closer fashion. So I will be right back. Okay. Here's a macro shot. The serial number is right there. You can see it, 0633. Now, it's not bad in terms of its condition, but one of the reasons why I think I got such a great price for this is I'll show you a little bit of a nick here. Where is it? Right there. Do you see that? There's just a nick right here, which is, you know, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. And I also have SC. You see the letters SC? So those must be the initials of the buyer, the original buyer. And you can see the little nick there. There is a little scratch right here that I haven't been able to buff out. And I haven't really tried because I don't want to over buff this pen. There was a little bit of a ding. Hold on, let me just see if I could. You see, I can't even find it anymore. It was so minor, but all to say that the pen is in fairly good condition. So I'm pleased. Yes, there is that, and you know, and it was announced when I bought it, but that explains why I did get a good price for it. Here's the nib, okay, and there's that stub that I was looking for with the ST on the feed for the stub, and there's that logo, the Waterman logo. From what I understand, that's the first time that Waterman put their logo on the nib. Then you have the 3 studs there that work the mechanism. Works really, really nicely. Very, very comfortable step down. Doesn't affect at all the position when you hold the pen, and it just doesn't leak anywhere because of that controlled. So very nice. So there you have it. That's the macro shot. I thought I'd show you that. Okay, so we're back, and we're back with some comparisons here. I've chosen some of my Grail pens and some that are not Grail pens at all, And I also want to compare it to the Schaefer Legacy, which has a, an inlaid nib, and just to show you the difference there. So first of all, as you could see, it's a good sized pen. This is my Pelikan M1000. This is a Jane Austen Mont Blanc, but it's that fake that's being sold on AliExpress. It's proportional to its real size. You can see that the Waterman Edson is not a small pen at all. This is a 146 style pen, Mont Blanc Guilloche Solitaire. This is the 149, and this, of course, is my Delta oversized Dolce Vita, and the with its long beak or long cap, you can see that the Edson is bigger than all the rest of them. There you have it, the pens capped. Here are the pens uncapped, and as you can see, this one here doesn't want to turn on me. Again, it's a big pen. The Pelikan is slightly longer, as you could see, but very, very equal in size to the 149, to the Dolce Vita, and even to this Jane Austen clone. So there you have the pens uncapped and unposted. Here are the pens posted. The Dolce Vita and the Pelikan are huge when you post them. But I don't like the idea of posting this pen because I just don't want to scratch that barrel. The Jane Austen clone doesn't post at all. But as you can see, it's a very decent size when you post it. More than comfortable. So works very, very well. So there you have the comparison. I think what more interesting will be comparison. We'll do some writing with this pen. But before we do that, I'll show you some measurements, and then we'll do that writing sample segment, which I think is going to be very, very interesting. Be right back. Okay, so we're back for the writing sample. Now, isn't that a beautiful? Look at that, the way, the reflection in the light. I mean, this pen, I can see why my friend Hemingway Jones just goes nuts over this pen. It's absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. I gotta tell you, just beautiful. Okay, so let's do this. This is the Waterman Edson Midnight Blue. I mean, you cannot hear the nib at all. So the nib, of course, is an inlaid 18-karat stub. And the ink, for those of you who saw my recap, I tested 5 inks and I chose Dieman Sapphire. And I did so over Éclat de Saphir from Herbin. Now, what you have to know about this nib is that this nib is fairly rigid. So it's not a flex nib at all. But the lack of flexibility is made, if you will, is not at all, doesn't take away from the writing experience. It gives you that control over your writing that often you lose when you have either a flexi or a more springy nib. For example, and I showed this in my recap, this Pelican is so soft that it kind of you have no control over, or less control, I would say to you. So they're both experiences, I think, are valid and wonderful experiences, but don't be fooled by the fact that this nib is fairly rigid. That's what I think you need to know. Now, in terms of the line, with this stub nib, you can get a fairly, if you use it properly, you can get a fairly soft line, or you can get a thicker line. And needless to say, very wet. Very wet. In terms of fast writing, this thing glides beautifully. It's constant. So it is very smooth. Extra smooth, my view. And very constant and wet. Now, likes and dislikes. It's going to be very simple. Every single feature that I described in my previous part of this video are all the likes, and there are absolutely no dislikes, none whatsoever. I mean, this is a 10 on 10 pen. It is a go-to pen, and I have no regrets. You know, sometimes you buy what is termed a grail, and you just don't get the same pleasure that you were expecting. Here, I got to tell you, I have no disappointments whatsoever. This pen has fulfilled all expectations and more, I would say to you. So it's going to be cherished. Going to be cherished. 10 on 10, Waterman. 10 on 10. Here we go. Wow. What a gem. What a real gem. I'm going to have a hard time next week writing with anything else other than this pen. I got to tell you. Got to be careful. I don't want to overdo it. But now that I have the blue, I'm thinking about getting the green, and I'm thinking about getting the ruby. I don't think I'll care for the sterling silver or all metal, but I think I'm going to get maybe the other colors. Yeah. Now, I did want to do one more comparison, and I'm going to go to my overhead camera again. With the inlaid nib, because we do have I do have in my collection, two pens that are worthy when you talk about inlaid nibs. Very different, as you could see, but the size of the Edison and the way this nib is designed, it's just, the Schaefer looks, I don't know if this writes, don't get me wrong, it gives you a very nice line. I mean, I haven't written with this in a long time, and it gives me more feedback. It is a fine, So it's a nice writer, but it doesn't rival the Edson. I got to tell you, it doesn't rival the Edson. Very, very nice. And look at this. I took out the legacy and, just for a few seconds, and I've got ink all over my fingers, which is something that doesn't happen with this Edson. It just doesn't. There's no overflow. There's no mess. And what I like even better is, and I don't regret getting this stub. I was looking for a stub, and I finally found one, and I have no regrets whatsoever. So there you have it. That's it. I wanted to compare that. I wanted to share that with you. So thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed that review. It's a beautiful pen, folks. Save up. I recommend it. Cheers, Hemingway. Cheers. I should say Tim. There you have it. Thank you very, very much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Helps the algorithm. So, just press on that button. It's free. No commitments. And if you get fed up with me, you can always unsubscribe. So ring the bell. Send me some comments. And all will be appreciated. Grazie. Take care, folks.